know how many you guys may be power procrastinators, but I sure am. Do you have any?
Super. Yeah, no,
All
totally.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you have any just advice or ways about just getting back into that zone?
I make lists. I'm a big list guy. I love to make lists because like if I have a moment where I'm like, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. It's all right, man. Just go to your list, go down your list, do what you do them in order.
Was that a question on procrastination?
Yeah, like they call it like I do a thing. They call it chunking, where you take like big tasks and you chunk them into smaller tasks, and then you just do those smaller tasks, and eventually you equal a big task.
And I'm the same way. I do this as a ritual every day. I have a notebook tablet. I write down the time every day. I know I could buy the ones already pre-printed, but I just like writing, right? So I write like from 9 to 9.
Yeah.
And I do everything on there, like make up my bed, brush my teeth, eat dinner, eat lunch, blah, blah, blah. Start penciling page 14 of Sync 5. You know what I mean? And then I'm done for the day. Then tomorrow is like, now I have several projects, so it works for me to stay in line like that. But that's the best way, like you were saying.
It's good too, though, because if you don't work on your own stuff for 2 or 3 days, and you go back and look at your notebook, and you're like, man, I've been slacking. I need to get back into like the habit that I was in last week when I was actually.
That's why I had to do that, because I work on one book on Monday, and if 12 o'clock comes and I didn't get as much done as possible, so it's too bad. I got tomorrow. I have to work on this other book until midnight, and if I don't get that done, and like he said, if I go out of town for the weekend or got drunk that Friday night and didn't think I would, I don't go back and backtrack. I have to go to the next day.
Yep. Yeah, like push it forward.
Yeah, if it's Wednesday, hey, you were supposed to work on Hood Rats, but you were drinking, so you got to wait till next Wednesday to work on it. Because now we got to get to Saint. Now we got to work on Peacekeeper. We got other books to work on. You got other projects, and because that's important too. You got to set aside, because that's gonna be your best support system is whoever you're with. Believe it or not, I don't know an artist that's successful that doesn't have that. I've never met an art. Well, you.
I don't either, but maybe that says something about our level of success.
I'm talking about. I've seen it on a level where these guys like Todd Knott, Mark Brooks, their wives are at their tables 90% of the time.
Yeah, there's sometimes you see people that are like power couples, and you can tell that
and
that,
Scott,
they have their back completely 100%, and that is really important.
And Scott, it will take a while for your wife comes on board sometimes, like because you're gonna lose money for a long time. It's a dream for a long time, but once you start getting the procrastination bug out of you, and you really start showing some results, like I actually printed this book.
Yeah.
She'll start slowly saying, okay, he's not a loser as much anymore, but he's actually making progress. Because I got my wife to come out to a show once in my life. Only once. And I've been doing comics for almost 20 years. You know what I mean? And she came, and I was like, I couldn't believe she was there. I had to keep touching her, like, oh my God, you're here.
It's real.
It's here, and that meant a lot to me, but I had to put in the work first. Like, I had to give her a reason. She's like, I ain't going up there with no fanboys, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? I had to put in the work so she could see that he's really investing time and it's serious, so I can go up there. Because you know how I look at it? My wife doesn't know I look at it like this, but I would do the same thing for her.
Yep.
So I don't cut her any slack about that support thing. You got to support me, because if I was rich and you had this crazy idea, you wanted to draw comics, guess what I would do? I'd support you. So it's the least I'm asking you to do is support my dream. Anyway, that's just my spiel on that.
Word. Most important, I would say just start. If you're procrastinating, I do it a lot of times, man. I have a piece like ready to be inked or ready to be penciled, and I just will stare at it and not start it. And you just have to you have to be okay with messing up.
Right.
Like if you start it and you mess up, it's fine. Just start over. I think that's key, because I think a lot of people don't start because they are afraid of messing up. Like I know that's where my procrastination comes from a lot. I don't want to mess it up.
One thing that kind of helped me, surprisingly, was going to the library. Just cutting yourself off from all that stuff you're used to interfering with your life.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find it easier to work on art in a con when you're out in public?
Yeah.
I do too. Okay, I was wondering. Yeah, totally.
I do now. I used to dread sketches. I do comics, man. Buy the comics, because I wasn't sketching, and then my friends had to teach me how to sketch, believe it or not, at shows. It's like, nah, man, you got to take your time, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, I couldn't draw in front of people. But thank God my family always went to work. I had the house to myself, but I had to get serious. There wasn't no weed-smoking friends coming over or none of that. It was like I got the grind because mom's going to kick me out. And I learned the hard way. If the lights get cut off, there ain't no drawing getting done. So that's what motivates me. And my friend always says McDonald's is always hiring. But, so I always.
That's a
And
good,
you
that's
get
a,
free, you get free food.
that's a good motivator. though.
Yeah, I think about that all the time. McDonald's is always
Always.
hiring. So it's like, and when I get tired and I go, man, I don't know if this is for me, I go, nah, bro, because we ain't trying to work
You
at
can be flipping burgers
McDonald's.
instead.
I ain't trying to work at McDonald's, so I'm grinding. Because mama be wanting to see something. And if it ain't money, it better be some artboard, some pencil, some elbow grease to the paper.
Growth, something.
Because she ain't in there cooking chicken and whatever we eating tonight while I've been tripping all day. So it's kind of like I got to show her stuff, even though she don't care about my art.
I mean,
But-
the blank page is the most daunting thing. It just,
Yeah.
it seems like there's so much I've still got to do, and you just kind of throw it up on there.
Yeah.
You know, and then look, you're gonna go back and change it. I mean, there's just.
But see, that's where that system's
You're
gonna
gonna
help
mess
you.
up. You're gonna change stuff. Like
So you can put the most sloppy thing on a blank page, but you know what? You started.
Yeah, that's the key. Just starting, because that is the key. You know, and I messed up a lot of boards. I got stacks of boards and boxes of crappy art.
oh, I've burned so much crappy art. Yeah.
I keep saying I'm gonna scan it in. I go, I ain't scanning that crap in.
The Control X.
yeah. Yeah. Don't be afraid to like get rid of your old stuff. Don't be afraid to start over. Don't be afraid to try new stuff.
Oh, I'm gonna put it all in a
Like
sketchbook.
that helps me a lot when I'm procrastinating. I'll just do something different. Like, oh, I can't ink a thing. Well, go do some watercolor and like quit thinking about the inks for a second, and then go back to it later.
And stay away from video games.
Yeah. Seriously.
Man.
I do not have any video games installed on my computer.
I
None.
worked in video games, and people that worked in video games are the worst for it. But artists always tells,
It's a time suck.
I'll tell you the best. If you're an artist, just watch the YouTube walkthroughs.
Yep.
That's the best. You can draw and let it play, and you saw the whole Batman Arkham game right there. You saw all the graphics that they saw.
It's a
You
brilliant-
saw
brilliant
everything.
advice.
An artist told me that. He goes, dude, I can't play games. I ain't got time for that.
Smart. You keep up too.
But you can watch them. So and you save money. It's $60 a game. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube while you're drawing, and you meet your gamer friend. He's like, "Did you see it? Yeah, man, it ended awesome. It did." And I never spent one dime or played any of that. I got my book done, because video games in this modern era will kill your career, and I don't care what you're doing.
Yep.
I don't even play video games, and I saw that. Man.
It'll kill your relationship, everything. It's like he just sits on his butt all day and play that game. So, and if you do play games because you can't help it, just schedule an hour. Just give yourself an hour today.
Oh, set timers too. That's another procrastination tip. I like to set timers. So, work for 45 minutes. Give yourself 10 minutes
Or
off.
never play when mama's home.
Yeah, that's.
That helps.
And move past if you stall, if you're stuck on something. I mean, I almost always do everything out of sequence. I'll have something and it's not the beginning, it's not the end, just because I don't.
But it's what came out.
Yeah. Because it's what you just, this is a good idea, and just start working on that. If you try to write it from front to end, you'll get stuck on like the third sentence, and you'll be like, well, that doesn't sound very cool. You should say something really cool here. And then you're just staring at the page.
I'm not a writer, but I think my favorite writer advice was write drunk, edit sober.
I do that too.
Sauce it up.
All right. Well, any more
other
questions?
Jinx.
All right. Well, I'm going to get back out here because
thanks,
I got
guys.
people waiting on my table. But really appreciate y'all coming out, man.
My first panel.
My first panel, too.
My first panel. All right.
We got to do a selfie.
Let's do it.